Hi, gorgeous, and welcome to the Confident, Energized, and Sexy Mama Show. I am Dorit Palvanov, your host, feminine energy expert, health coach for women, registered holistic nutritionist, and the creator of the groundbreaking health and mindset program for moms, Energized, designed for perimenopausal women who are done having kids and are ready to get their confidence, energy, and sexy back. Ladies, think about it. What would the world look like if, as women, we stopped being so harsh on ourselves and instead felt more energized, powerful, confident, and more connected to our bodies? What if, as women, we honored the fact that we are built and wired differently than men, and being different does not mean being inferior? That the go, go, go mentality, alongside doing more to have more without ever pausing and resting, only leads to chronic stress, anxiety, burnout, overwhelm, lack of joy, and corrodes our health, relationships, and vitality. What if, as women, wives, and mothers, we had the courage and confidence to desire more? More freedom, power, energy, joy, abundance, pleasure, fun, play, and sex, all on our own terms. Mama, you deserve to feel good. You deserve to form healthy relationships, and your body needs, craves, and deserves pleasure. This is your birthright. You're here because you believe in your feminine energy. You're here because you care about health and the environment, and you're not afraid to take action and change. You're here because you don't want to pass on a pattern of self destruction, hiding, and not speaking your truth to your daughters. You're here because you're done feeling stuck, living a mediocre life as a half woman. You're here because you are done struggling and, frankly, can no longer afford to feel like crap. Each week, I will be here for you, dropping a healthy dose of inspiration and motivation, as well as introducing you to my brilliant guests, where we will dive deep into all things womanhood, feminine power, energy, psychology, holistic and alternative health, food, nutrition, hormones, fitness, mindset, motherhood, relationships, sex, business, and much more. So, Mama, are you ready to take back control of your health? Let's do this. Hey, gorgeous. How are you? Welcome to another episode of the Confident, Energized, and Sexy Mama Show. This is Dorit Palvanov, your host. Today's episode is going to be a replay of yesterday's webinar. I have decided to do this. Well, first of all, I received plenty of requests from mamas who kind of expected to go on the podcast, and it's totally fine with me. And also, yesterday I have experienced some technical difficulties, and apparently, a lot of the people who signed up and registered to the webinar didn't get the link to join to the Zoom, which is a bummer, but this is what it is. Running an online business sometimes means that not sometimes, means I have to rely on technology, and sometimes it just doesn't work. So it is what it is. So I decided to publish it here over at the podcast. Of course, you can't see the slides, but I think even without the slides, you can gain a lot of value from the webinar. It was super fun for me to put it together. There's probably new content you've never heard me share ever before. So that is totally a perk. Also, at the very end, I shared that you can get a link to the female daily tracking sheet. So if you're a listener, if you're a new listener and you've never heard me talk about this before, you don't yet have a copy of this, then please reach out to me. You can email me at Dorit dorit.palvanov@gmail.com. So Dorit, D-O-R-I-T dot Palvanov, Palvanov @gmail.com, or you can find me over at Facebook. I go by my name, Dorit Palvanov, or at Instagram. So look me up by @Dorit Palvanov Coaching. And let me know you want a link to this free resource. I'm happy to give it to you. I apologize, I don't have a landing page where you can sign up for it, because that's content that I only give to paying clients. But because I have seen this tool being so powerful, I mean, it's been powerful in my personal life, and it's been so powerful in the lives of my one-on-one clients, and I decided to share it as well. So yeah, for sure, reach out if you want a copy of that as well. I have mentioned a brand new cohort program that I am launching. It is called the Confident, Energized, and Sexy Mama's Inner Circle. This is going to be a membership community. I have made it ridiculously affordable. As you know, when I work with clients, my fee begins at four figures, and it's a 4-figure investment because I work with clients over a period of 6 months, and the fee it actually serves a very high purpose, because when we are invested, when we put money into our own personal development and personal growth, and invest money into, let's say, something like our health, it immediately propels us into action, right? Because it's a clear signal to your psyche and to your entire being that this is important, and you're actually going to do the work, versus when you get things that are either for free or things that you feel like they are quote unquote affordable. I have noticed personally, I've been doing this work for 7 years, so believe me, I've tried it all. I've tried all the different rates. When the rate is perceived as something that is quote unquote affordable, then the compliance is not as high. And for me, when I work with a client, I am looking for results. I want my clients to shift away completely from burnout. I want to teach all of my ladies that it is possible to live a joyful, fulfilled, fun life, being confident, feeling energized, feeling passionate about life. And being a mom or raising kids or having responsibilities does not mean that all of those things have to kind of take a back seat. So you'll hear me at the very end introduce and talk about this membership community. Right now, the price is $37 per month. I know, it's ridiculously affordable. It's ridiculously, I'm not going to say cheap. It is a price that I've decided to try. It's the first round of this program. And my goal with this is to, number one, give you a sense of community, a sense of belonging. I want to give you also the space to ask questions and get them answered. I want to give you also space to get coached. If you need some help to get past some stuckness. So all of this is there for you, and it's incorporated and it's incorporated within this membership community. And I would love for you to join. So if this is something that speaks to you, that you would like to become a part of, as of now, the way to start is by application only. So what you need to do is head on over to my website, so www.doritpalvanov.com. So I'm going to spell it out for you, DORITPALVANOV.com. /apply. So APPLY. And you'll see a form on this page. Fill it out and click submit. At the very bottom, there is a question. If you're willing to invest 4 figures into your own personal development, just say yes to that. But obviously, this is not going to be a 4-figure investment. And then you'll hear back from me. We will probably get on the phone. I just want to make sure that I'm going to be selecting only women who I feel like are a great fit for this program, because it matters to me that the community is supportive, it's like-minded, and these are a community of women who are looking for results, who are ready and willing to do the work, and all of this good stuff. All right, I'm going to stop talking and I will let you listen to the webinar. Hopefully this is of value to you, of benefit to you. Please let me know what you think. If you have any questions, feel free to email me. So dorit.palvanov@gmail.com. And without further ado, enjoy the webinar. All right. It's 1 p.m. exactly Eastern, 101. And I want to start. So welcome to all who are joining. I know that we'll be having more people, more women joining as we go along. So welcome to the 3 steps to getting your energy back after getting married and having kids. This is super exciting. I am beyond thrilled to talk to you today and share what I have to share, to connect with you. I have had so many emails and private messages on Facebook and Instagram of people reaching out to me and saying that this topic really resonated. So I am glad that this is happening. So I think without further ado, let's just get started. I'm going to share my screen. And the way this is going to work, the way it's going to work is I will be giving you options to interact with me. So you can send me, you can participate in the chat. So in the very bottom, there is a chat box. You can click on that and just type whatever it is you want to say. Or there's another option. You could also unmute yourself. So if you have a mic on your computer, or if you're on the phone, then you can also unmute yourself and ask your question. So I think this way we can engage a little bit better. So like I said, welcome to the 3 steps to getting your energy back after getting married and having kids. You are entering a serenity zone. I would like to ask you to please turn off your cell phones, the TV, social media, Instagram, Facebook, all the the different distractions that we get in our lives, so that you can really focus and be here. What we're going to be practicing today is we're going to be practicing being present, which is, by the way, another issue that mothers share with me all the time. And it's tied in so beautifully with energy or lack of energy. And so I would like to ask you to control your energy. And if you have some headphones around, please put them on, so you can really be here and fully participate and get the maximum benefit from this workshop today. This is really an opportunity to retrain yourself and begin your self-care journey. I know for so many of us, this word is thrown off so, I think, easily today when we talk about self-care, but really for me, this is not self-care. For me, this is self-respect, right? It's not about taking care of yourself so much as it is about respecting yourself, giving yourself the time, the space, and the energy that you deserve in order to function in this world. And this very idea becomes even more amplified as we become mothers, as we become, you know, caretakers, as we are responsible for little humans, right? So welcome to this journey. I know that for a lot of you, this is going to be kind of not very new, but for a lot of you, this is also super new. A lot of you are telling me that you're completely exhausted, burnt out, feeling like you're drowning. We're going to talk about this a little bit later today. And this is, you know, this is the space for you. This is step number one, right? All of this is important because this is at the very heart of having energy. As we go along, please take notes. Pen to paper is the best. You can also alternatively type your responses in the chat box. But just for your benefit, I highly encourage you to have a pen and paper available and write these answers. I feel like it's a much more intimate process for you to really get more honest with yourself. All right, so you are my love. You are here for a reason. So you might be great at managing, you know, it all, and look like you have it all together, but inside you are exhausted, desperate, and feeling like a hot mess. And you also feel highly underappreciated for everything that you do around the house and just in general in your life. Maybe in your 20s, you had so much confidence, energy, and passion, and you just wonder where all of that went. You might feel fat and gross, and you believe that if you just looked different, if you were skinnier, if you had tighter ass, bigger boobs, slimmer arms, narrower hips, life would have just been so much easier and so much better. If you feel like you could do something amazing with your life, but you just have no energy for it and also no time for it because you feel like the household, chores, kids, it's all consuming and you don't know how to create that little window for self-expression and for creativity in your life. So this is also, if that's how you feel, this is also a great space for you to start. If you are the one who keeping it all together most of the time at home, but every once in a while you snap at the kids, at your partner, whatever. If you feel resentful because you're the one holding everything at home, but your partner is free to come and go as he pleases, this is a big one. So we're going to talk about that as well. If you feel like spending money on yourself is selfish and irresponsible because you are a stay-at-home mom and you don't contribute financially, that was me. So I totally get it. And you are not alone and you are in the right place as well. So really all of those things, in order to shift that around, the very bottom of it, the foundation is to learn how to cultivate and sustain your energy. This is really the answer to everything. And believe me, I've been doing this work for long enough to see that no matter what you try, no matter the tactics, there is no formula. It really all goes back to energy. So here's what we're going to do today. I will share, first of all, I'll begin by telling you exactly why you feel so tired, so burnt out, lost, and like a shell of a woman. And of course, I'm going to also share a little bit. I mean, I'm constrained obviously with time, but I'll also share with you what to do about this. I also have a special surprise. I'm going to give you the one mindset shift, super important. It's one, but it's so powerful, that all healthy and happy women have gone through to regain their confidence, energy, and passion for life. And then I will share the 3 exact steps to increase your energy instantly today, the very least tomorrow, so that you learn, you have these tools in your toolkit to shift your energy around, okay? So, and hint, it's not more coffee or sweets, but you knew that already. Okay, and then at the end, excuse me, I will gift you a powerful tool to help you change your energy around, as well as an opportunity to apply to work with me. We're going to talk about this a little bit later. So make sure you stick around until the very end. So who the heck am I? My name is Dorit Palanov. If we are meeting for the first time, I am a women's health coach. I'm a nutritionist and also a feminine energy expert. I speak 3 languages, and I immigrated twice in my life. Once when I was 6 years old from the former Soviet Union to Israel, and then when I was 21 years old from Israel to Canada. I am super passionate about salsa. I have a reverence for life, the female body, and the healing power of sex. I am also married for the past 11 years. I am a mama of 3 daughters, and I've been in business. I'm doing this work for the past 7 years. I'm also the host of the Confident, Energized, and Sexy Mama weekly podcast. So my story, I don't think my story is very different than yours. I think you and I connected for some reason because our stories are most likely very, very similar. So I had a fantasy. I got married when I was 25 years old, and I craved to be to be married and to be a mom. And so I had this fantasy to be the best mom in the world, and I jumped into married life and baby making, only to realize that this was nothing like I had envisioned, definitely there was no happily ever after for me. I always wanted to raise my children peacefully and consciously, with kindness. And I envisioned myself reading to them and, just not having clutter and yelling and drama in the house, while having a thriving marriage, feeling connected to my husband. I also wanted to travel the world and own a business where I can express my creativity and help people. But instead of traveling the streets of Greece, I very quickly found myself drowning in laundry, a sink full of dishes, screaming children, wiping asses, making meals that were never ready on time, and living with clutter, chaos, exhaustion, and worst of all, burnout. And I questioned my existence all the time. Really? Like, this is it? Like, are you kidding me? Like, nothing more exciting? Like, when is this finally going to happen? And so 5 years ago, I picked up the mountains of laundry, dishes, diapers, and dinners in one huge pile, and I threw it out the door. Now, I have to say, I didn't leave my husband. I didn't desert my kids. What I did do is I decided to meet myself. I decided to reacquaint myself with me. I decided to give myself the permission to do things my way, unapologetically, without any guilt or shame. And since then, my life is completely different. So when I say that I threw it out the door, that's what I really mean. And hopefully today's workshop is going to help you to do the same. I knew my life was meant for more, but I was going to have to make it happen, right? So the same for you. I can give you all the tools, I can give you all the training, I can give you all the coaching, but you are the one who have to then decide that this is important, that you matter, and then take the steps that I am going to share with you and actually take action on your life and change your life around. Again, no one could do it for me, and no one could do it for you as well. It's time for action. All right. To summarize my work, this is it. I put feminine energy into women's bodies who are burnt out due to living and working like a man. So this is what I do. And of course, it means so much more. It means different things to you. It means different things to me. But in general, I think every one of my clients told me, Dorit, with you, I've learned how to be a woman. I've learned how to sustain my energy. I've learned how to cultivate it and how to live in peace with myself and without wasting time and energy, feeling pressured or feeling exhausted and burnt out, mostly because of our self-induced expectations of life, right? So this is it. And like I said, I'm the founder and host of the weekly show, Confident, Energized, and Sexy Mama podcast. And I'm also the creator of the groundbreaking health and mindset membership program for moms called Confident, Energized, and Sexy Mama's Inner Circle. And I'm going to be introducing you to it a little bit later today. Okay, so let's get to it. So in your notebook, I would like for you to answer. Let me just quickly do one tech check. Sorry, ladies. I'm just going to check that people received my email. I see they received it, but nobody clicked. Oh gosh. Technology. All right. If you can't see this, I will make sure to post it to the podcast as well as send you a replay. So for sure, you do not miss this workshop. Okay, let's continue. All right, so in your notebook, please answer. What is the number one struggle you currently have around your female body? Is it weight gain? Is it energy? Is it acne? Is it just feeling overall tired? Is it feeling burnt out? Is it feeling like you just don't care about anything, just general apathy about life? What is it around your female body, around you yourself, that is your number one struggle? So in your journal, write it down. Second question I want you to think about is, what have you tried to feel better about yourself and it's not working? Have you tried diets? Have you tried to exercise? Have you tried different supplements? Have you tried different pharmaceuticals? What is it that you have tried in the past but didn't work? So write it down. All right, third question. What are the mean things that you say to yourself about your body? About your libido, about your energy, about just yourself in general. I can give you some examples of the mean things that I used to say to myself. And that was, you are, who do you think you are? You are lazy. You are fat. You're the worst mom ever. You're bad at sex. Oh my gosh, I can't even remember. Bad, really, really mean things. So think about those things that you say to yourself, that you keep repeating them in a loop in your head, and write them down. And then the fourth question I want you to answer is, on a scale of 1 to 10, how low is your energy right now? I want you to be honest. Okay, so 1 being it's completely low, like you're about to die. You don't have any pulse. 10 being you are rocking it, like you're killing it. It's so good. You're ready to thrive, or you are already thriving. Okay. And then the last question is, what would happen if you don't take action on this struggle or challenge right now? What would be the cost to your health, to your life, to your parenting, to your marriage? What would happen? So some examples, some moms tell me, if I don't learn how to understand my body better, I will end up a divorced woman. My marriage will fall apart. Or if you're struggling with weight, some serious weight situation, or thyroid problems, then it's a serious threat to your life. So diabetes, cancer, things not unpleasant things. Think about like what is the cost that what's the worst case scenario that could happen if you don't look at it and actually start taking action on it. Okay? So have these questions, these answers available, and let's get back to the workshop. So I hear moms say this all the time. I'm always burnt out and exhausted. I feel like I'm drowning in my life. Everything is hard. These mundane daily tasks, getting my kids to school, seems harder than it should be. I don't enjoy parenting. I don't enjoy my life. I'm drowning in housework and my to-do list. Most days I'm not enjoying my marriage, my life, and just what I'm doing. I know that it doesn't have to be this way, but I don't know what to do about it. All I want to do is go away somewhere by myself for like 2 weeks, shrink all of my responsibilities. Another mama said, all I want to do is sleep in with a clear conscience and not have any responsibilities for just one day. And then also women complain to me that physically their body is already manifesting, manifesting issues or symptoms. Things like brain fog and memory problems, weight gain, other serious issues like diabetes, thyroid conditions, adult acne, overall feeling of unease, heaviness, just overall feeling blah. Okay, and so if you're feeling burnt out, this is super. I think you can relate to that, right? A lot of women would say that they feel like old women. Most of my clients are women in their 30s to 40s, and so they're still very young, but they feel like old women, and even not trusting themselves are because of the memory problems and all that stuff. Now, I want us to talk about. I have this question. Did you rate yourself at a 5 or 6 for a reason? Because I've noticed that as women, we are conditioned to not be truthful with ourselves, to not say the truth, to ignore and deny the truth. And so remember I asked, rate yourself between 1 to 10, rate your energy levels, and where did you place yourself? So the majority of women would say that their struggle is somewhere between 5 or 6. And I want you to really sit with this answer just for a second. I can share with you that when I meet with moms one-on-one, or when I do discovery calls, this rating usually, and when we dig deeper, usually the truth is that they're somewhere around 2 or 3, more so than 5 or 6. And so this is important, because when you're at 5 or 6, you might be under the illusion that like you're doing pretty okay. You're doing pretty okay. It's okay. You don't really need to ask for help. You might be under the belief that struggle is normal, that it's supposed to be hard. But really nothing could be further from the truth. So I want you to really just close your eyes for just 10 seconds and ask yourself, is the number that I've chosen, is it true? Is it real? Or could it be that my number is a bit lower or maybe higher? Okay, so sit with it for a minute. All right, so let's talk about exactly why you feel so tired, so burnt out, and lost and like a shell of a woman. And of course, I will share a bit about what to do about it. So, okay, so in this picture, what you're seeing is a current, right? It's a current in a river or a stream. And what that is it's the flow of water influenced by gravity as the water moves downhill to reduce its potential energy. Now, I'm sure you've seen pictures like these. Hopefully also you've had the opportunity by now to see it in nature. And when we see the, this kind of image, it's always like, what's the feeling that we get? We get the feeling of serenity, of flow, like everything is happening the way it's supposed to, right? Because this is how it's supposed to happen in nature. There are no mistakes in nature. And the beauty with something like a current is that, sometimes the stream is going to be heavier, sometimes it's going to be a little bit leaner, but overall, the 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 potentiality, the flowing of the water would feel kind of seamless and just like very easy and smooth. And this is the feeling that I wanted to have in my life. And I refused to believe that because I'm a mom and because, I have more responsibilities and more things on my plate, this is something that I cannot achieve for myself. It was so wrong to believe that. When the truth was that, yes, it's possible. Yes, it's possible. It's just that I wasn't taught this. Now, think about this. Like, look around you. Think about your mom. Think about your grandmother. Think about your great grandmothers, right? Think about the women, around you. Are they living their lives flawlessly? Do they have a sense of flow? Or are they constantly under pressure, under stress, and just feeling like life is being sucked out of them because they are so responsible for others and so obligated to do and give to others around them instead of filling up their own cup, right? So this issue of not prioritizing ourselves is a huge deal. I can share with you, yesterday I attended a live event, a local event in my community, and there was a woman who approached me she saw me from far. She ran almost all the way to me and she said, Dorit, oh my gosh, you look amazing. You lost so much weight. Your face looks great. Your hair looks great. I love what you're wearing. What did you do? Tell me, what did you do? And I said, well, thank you. Well, honestly, it's not just one thing, it was a lot of things. But she's like, no, but tell me, like, what's the one thing? What's the one thing? I said, there wasn't one thing. But if you really must know, the majority of this work is really in here. And I pointed to my head. It's really about mindset. It's really about choosing to prioritize myself. When I did that, everything started to change. Everything. My relationship with my husband became better. My relationship, my connection with my kids became stronger. I started feeling much more connected to myself. I started to making better and healthier choices with food. I started to drink more water. I started to move my body just because I've kind of vowed this to myself. I got into this contract with myself that I deserve this. And also, even more so, I desired to pass on a legacy of flow and rhythm to my children, to my daughters. I'm raising 3 girls. And so I wanted to kind of break the cycle, break the generational pattern of burnout and struggle, and instead teach them that even in the modern life, while running a successful business, while working, while, being a modern woman, you can still have amazing marriage. You can raise, you can enjoy your children's childhood, and you can also have the space to take care of yourself. So this is what we're talking about today. This is the main reason why today women don't feel, why they feel burnt out, why there's this tendency to struggle so much, okay? So if a river is a metaphor for life, then the river's current is a metaphor for the rhythm of life, right? So imagine yourself, right? So you see this stream. Imagine yourself as a person in a little canoe rowing your way through this river's current, trying not to tip, trying to stay alive, and maybe even enjoy the adventure. Now, doing this canoeing for some times, you notice that there are some rules to feeling like you are in the flow. rowing downstream harmoniously instead of rowing upstream where life seems hard, challenging, and overwhelming, right? So this is super important, because just like the river, our days, our weeks, our months, and our years, they have cycles. They have ebbs and they have flows. There are days when the water is abundant and hence the flow seems more wild than usual. Other days, the current seems drier and hence flow is slower and it feels more calm and manageable. So as you get older and you gain more experience canoeing or rowing through this current of life, you figure out that the way to thrive in it is by becoming adaptable. So this is a super important thing that I want you to remember, especially as women. We have this gift of adaptability, of course correcting, resourcefulness, of tapping into our creative source, our creative powers, and designing something that works for us, right? It's not about living the life that you think you're supposed to, right? Having the house and the cars and the job and the kids and the husband. It's not so much about that as much as it is choosing that you can design the life that you crave to live, right? Based on how you want to feel. The more you resist, the more you fight or go against this current, the more you will tip and you feel like this is hard, unmotivating, uninspiring, and like a waste of your human potential. I hear this all the time. Women tell me, Dorit, I feel I'm being wasted. I feel like my energy, my life force, my potential as a human being, as a woman, is not being actualized. And this is true. It's true, because when you are, energy is not something that is limitless. And if in the way you are showing up to your life, it happens that there are some leaks, the wrong mindset, not prioritizing yourself, choosing, giving too much, like volunteering, doing, various fundraisers, donating blood when you don't feel like you can do it, but feeling like you must, right? So this self-induced pressure, these are called energetic leaks. And the more you have them, obviously the less energy you will have, and you'll end up feeling burnt out and like you're wasting your human potential. But when you let go of this control and you follow the cues of the river, you listen to the rhythm of nature, you tune into the wisdom and the intelligence of your body, and you allow yourself to be adaptable and course correct, then and only then you will feel in control of your canoe, which is your life, right? So this is really all about seeing yourself as the creator of your life, the captain of your canoe, believing in yourself and trusting the wisdom of life and the wisdom of your body. So what we're talking about here is this framework that I've developed. It's called the feminine current. And it's really, I designed it to help women to tap into their God-given embodied superpowers as systems of rules that can help you navigate through life in a way that feels easier, more flowing, and more sustainable. And doing this along with learning to eat right for keeping your hormones in balance will help you feel more alive. It will help you to feel more connected, more inspired, and thrive as a woman, wife, and mother. So I believe that if you live your life in alignment with your feminine current, and then of course you pass this knowledge down to your daughters, we can make the world a better place, one girl, one woman, and one mother at a time. And this is my mission in this world. So to answer this question of why you feel so tired, so burnt out, so lost, and like a shell of a woman, it's because you are not living in alignment with this feminine current, with this flow. I'm going to talk a little bit later about, the 4 phases of your menstrual cycle and how to cycle sync, how to organize your life in alignment with the cycle, which is one part of this whole system. But really, it's about understanding that as women, our our brain, our bodies, our hormonal system, our biology is 100% different than than men. And so we cannot show up to this life like, like a man. It's really about tuning back into the wisdom of life and beginning to live your life as a woman that flows through 4 different phases. And this is super helpful to first of all, like, to not feel so pressured and pressed for time and stressed all the time, and instead giving ourselves the time and the space to rejuvenate, to replenish, and then begin another cycle. Okay, so this is in a very condensed form the reason why women have a tendency to feel burnt out and depleted. All right. So remember, in the workbook, you wrote the answer to this question. What are the mean things that you say to yourself? So I hear women say, I can't figure this out. I can't do it. It's too hard. I can't control my sugar cravings. I can't, lose this weight. I can't afford to invest in XYZ. And then, because it's so overwhelming, a lot of us think this, right? A lot of us think to ourselves, what is wrong with me? Why can't I, get a hold of myself? Why can't I get my shit together? Like, why everything feels so hard? Why does it have to be so challenging? So now that you've beat yourself up, it's time for a special gift for yourself. Okay, are you ready for it? All right. So the one mindset shift that all healthy and happy women have gone through to regain their confidence, energy, and passion for life is it's this. It's replacing I can't with I won't. Now, remember the examples that I gave you? I can't figure this out. So instead of saying I can't, say I won't figure it out. I can't do it. It's too hard. Say I won't do it. It's too hard. I can't control my sugar cravings. Say, I won't control my sugar cravings. I can't afford this. No, say, I won't afford this. Here's the beautiful kind of like mindset trick that happens. When you say something like, I can't, immediately the brain is getting the signal of, okay, she can't. I'm not even going to try. But when you say, I won't, that implies that there is a choice. That if you really, really want to, you would, right? So for whatever reason, maybe lack of time, lack of patience, lack of resources, you don't want to put the energy into it, whatever it is, this is where we really, again, have to be honest with ourselves. But when you say I won't, it gives you this increased sense of responsibility, right? Like you're owning the situation as opposed to feeling like a victim. So I can't implies a victim mentality, as opposed to saying I won't, it implies choice, right? I can if I choose to, but for whatever reason, right now I choose not to. So this on its own, I know I just dedicated 2 slides for it, but this on its own is huge. It's such a huge mindset shift, because it's all about really reclaiming your sense of self, your sense of responsibility for yourself. The more you say, I can't, it's too hard, the more you communicate this way, and the more you actually say this to yourself, then the less you'll start exercising this muscle of resourcefulness and creativity and figuring things out. I learned this, by the way, from Marie Forleo. She just released a new book called Everything is Figureoutable. And there she talks about this very philosophy, that it's not about, life is not about feeling, entitled or obligated to, having your way or having it good. It's really about deciding, this is the life that I want to be, and this is what I'm willing to do, and this is what I'm going to do in order to get that, right? So it's really this reframe from being a victim to becoming a victor, right? To becoming someone who creates and designs the life that they want. And when we do that, we really, again, we have to become really honest with ourselves. And the more you do this, the more you will see that at the end of the day, the reason why you feel so depleted and so burnt out is because you are at the very bottom of your priority list, right? And no wonder you feel low in energy, burnt out, and exhausted. So, like I said, everything is figure outable. The one mindset shift that healthy and happy women have all gone through in graduating from girlhood into womanhood, meaning graduating from from immaturity, stepping into maturity, is really adopting the how can I question. And this will teach your brain, right? It's really about rewiring your brain. It will teach you to focus on solving the problem instead of sinking deeper into incompetence, feeling not good enough, wasting time on drama, etc. Right? So how can I have enough energy for my marriage, my children, my work, my social life, recreation, etc., and for myself? It's possible, right? Because I want my life to feel good. And so this is the right question. It's not about asking yourself, why does it have to be this way? Why can't it be easier? Instead, use this question, how can I? Okay, so let's recap. Your magical mindset shift is, number one, change can't to won't, right? So you're assuming responsibility instead of being in victim mentality. And number two, start asking, how can I? How can I? How can I have more energy? How can I eat healthier? How can I design a life that feels more flowy? How can I feel more connected to my husband? How can I feel more connected to my kids? How can I, travel the world while being a mom and being super, busy and while having a full schedule? How can I? That is the key piece that really was under my own transformation and my my clients' transformations, and also hopefully yours. Remember, mindset is everything. It is. All right, so let's jump into the last part of today's talk, which is the 3 exact steps to increase your energy instantly. And hint, it's not more coffee or sweets. Okay, number 1, sleep. Oh my gosh, prioritize your sleep. I'm sure that you appreciate the importance of sleep now that you have kids, right? Now, I know that it is unrealistic to recommend you to sleep through the night because it is often out of your control, especially if you have like infants and really young kids. But what you can do is you can begin to prioritize midday naps. Now, how are we going to do it, right? How can I? Again, so some ideas. During your lunch break at work, put the driver's seat down and just set an alarm for 20 minutes and just doze off. This will help tremendously to just reboot and restart your system, so you will feel much more rejuvenated instead of reaching for the muffins and reaching for the coffee. And so many women that I talk to drink at least 4 to 5 cups of coffee a day. This is way too much. This throws your blood sugar balance off the charts. It's so harmful to the cortisol levels. It depletes your adrenals. It really wreaks havoc on your body. And so don't do that to yourself, right? Because again, ask yourself, what is the point of that? Where am I going with this? Right? Instead, I'm going to be plugged back into the feminine current so that I can feel this flow, this ease, this ease and seamlessness. And in order to do that, because I prioritize myself, I am going to prioritize midday naps. So you could take, a 20-minute nap during your lunch breaks. If you are a stay-at-home mom, you can choose naps over laundry. Please do that. Please don't be stupid like I was. Just take those naps. When the kids are sleeping, sleep yourself as well. Put your head down for 15 minutes at work if you can, and allow your mind to just shut down and turn off. If you struggle to relax, try yoga nidra. You can just Google it, or maybe even go to YouTube and just Google, just type yoga nidra, or guided meditations, especially if for those of us who have a very chatty mind and it's hard for us to just not think about anything. Yoga nidras and guided meditations are super helpful. Okay, this is number one. Number two, so number one, we talked about sleep, prioritizing sleep, especially midday naps. Number two is feed your energy. So as you know, my background is in holistic nutrition, so I know the value of good and healthy food. Now, here's a simple concept that I want to teach you, and hopefully this will serve you for the rest of your life as well as your children. Eat food that is as close to its natural state as possible, okay? In other words, just eat real food. Now, here are some examples of real food versus processed food. An apple, right, versus boxed apple juice. Homemade roasted chicken versus grilled chicken from McDonald's. Eggs versus substitute eggs. Whole grain bread versus white bread. Milk versus chocolate milk. Also, ask yourself, how many people were involved in making this food for me? So if the answer is following, for example, let's take the example of apple. The apple, it was picked by one person and then it's shipped to the store, another person, or you might have picked it at the farmer's market, then it was put for sale by another person. So overall, maybe 3 people. And apple juice, apples were picked, so one person. Then they were brought into a manufacturing facility where the apples were squeezed. So another 1 or 2 persons. And then another person added preservatives to it. Then it was boxed, right? So 4 more people. Then it was shipped by a truck, by another person, etc., etc. So you see, the more people involved, the less real the food is and the more processed it would be. So that is the meaning of processed foods. It's okay to process the food in your own kitchen, right? Because at the end of the day, the way to process it is just maybe to chop it up, maybe to season it, maybe to add some flavor to it. Processing food at home is okay. But when the food was processed outside of your home, it is not okay. And it is not considered a real food. Okay? So a few more tips. When you are low on energy, eat real food. So we talked about the distinction between real food and processed foods. Okay? Eat light. Do not overeat. When you overeat, what you're doing is you are overloading your digestive system. Did you know that the digestive system, the digestive process requires at least 80% of your energy? And so if you're lacking energy to begin with, keep your portions. First of all, you want them to be real, right? The food, you want it to be real food. You want it to be whole food. And then you want the portions to be smaller. And another thing I want to remind you here is that it takes our body, it takes our brain, it takes the stomach about 20 minutes to send a signal to the brain that you are done eating, that you are full. So that signal of fullness, of I don't need any more food, it takes about 20 minutes. And so it's 20 minutes of potentially overeating, I mean, I can be done with my entire meal in 20 minutes. So, there are a lot of foods that you could potentially overeat within 20 minutes. So be mindful of this thing and eat light as opposed to eating heavy. Okay? The next thing is don't drink while you eat. When you drink water during foods, what you're doing is you're diluting the stomach juices. And because of that, the fire, the stamina of your digestion is going to be compromised. And all of this starts this entire process begins with a good and efficient digestive process. Remember, 80% digestive process requires 80% of our entire energy. So you don't want to be drinking water while you're eating. However, if you do feel like you just want to wash your mouth, you can sip. And it's a good idea to have a warm beverage as opposed to something cold. So if you can drink tea, you can, don't do coffee, but herbal teas are great, okay? Take breaks from wheat and gluten. Oh my gosh, this is a huge, huge thing. Gluten, I mean, even if you're thinking about the word, what it does, gluten means it's glue. And so what this does, it really makes everything super slow in the body. And we're going to talk about the third thing, the third step to increasing your energy. This will make much more sense. But what happens with wheat and then with gluten is because the grain, today's wheat is genetically modified, our bodies doesn't know how to recognize it. And as a result, it struggles. And when the body struggles, that means you will have less energy. So what we're going to be doing is, I'm not even going to say stop eating gluten altogether, stop eating bread altogether. But what I'm going to suggest is take breaks from wheat and gluten periodically. So for example, go on a two-week fast from bread, and then reintroduce it and see how you feel, and then do it again, and then see again how you feel. The more of this you do, the more in tune with yourself you are going to become, and then you will start feeling much stronger, and you will start having much more energy as a result. Okay, take breaks from dairy. So the same idea, dairy. So think about this. As human beings, we are the only mammals who drinks or eats other mammals' milk. Like, it's so unnatural. It should not be the case. And yet we do it. And the problem with this is that our body doesn't know how to digest this food, especially if it's cow's milk, especially if it's laden with antibiotics and hormones and all that stuff. And so in order to give yourself the boost of energy, especially when you know that you need you need to be at top peak, or performing at your very best for, I don't know, like a pitch, or you have an important meeting, or you have, family visiting from abroad. As we're approaching the holidays, this is very relevant. So when you know that you are, to begin with, are going to have low energy, when you're underslept, your baby didn't sleep, then what you want to do is do not choose the foods that are going to bog your energy down. And I know how hard this is, because when we're tired and exhausted, the last thing we want to do is to choose healthy, right? We just want to binge, and we just want to shut everything down because we have zero willpower. So this is where this responsibility kicks in, right? The responsibility for self. I know that I'm important, I matter, and hence I deserve this. I deserve the oatmeal bowl instead of the dairy, okay? Instead of the cheese, instead of the cereal with milk, okay? So hopefully this is helpful to you. And then the last thing, it's to feed your hormones. Another way I call it is eat like a woman. So what you see here is a circle, and this circle represents a day, it represents a week, it represents a month, and it represents a year. It also represents the menstrual cycle. So the menstrual cycle is, and I've talked about it so many times, but I'll say it again for those of you who are new to this concept. The menstrual cycle consists of 4 phases, and each phase, so the first phase is the follicular phase, and then ovulatory phase, and then there's the luteal phase and the menstrual phase. Each phase is roughly a week. It's plus minus, it's different for all of us. And of course, when I talk about the menstrual cycle, this refers mostly to those of us who have a regular cycle. If for whatever reason you don't have a cycle, if you're pregnant or you are in menopause, then this doesn't mean that you are not a cyclical being. You are. It's just that you need to embrace more of your connection to the moon. And so this circle also represents your connection to the moon. So as you can see, in the follicular phase, that represents the waxing moon. The ovulatory phase represents full moon. The luteal phase represents the waning moon, and the menstrual phase represents new moon. Now, what happens when we feed our hormones is, first of all, understanding that because we have ovaries, right? Because as women, we have ovaries. We have our hormones fluctuate over a 30, so roughly between 28 to 35 days. So think about for example, let's think about the difference between women and men. A man also cycles, but a man's hormonal cycle culminates every 24 hours. So, and the man's body responds to the sun. So when it's sunny out, their testosterone levels rise up. And so the man is up, he's ready to rock it, and they go to work and they have energy. And then once the sun starts to set, that's when testosterone starts to decrease. And men come back home from work, they're tired, and what they want to do is watch TV and just sit on the couch, right? But that's not to say that men are irresponsible and couch potatoes. That's not where I'm going with this. I just wanted to illustrate the difference between how men's biology works versus how females' biology works. Now, our hormones, they don't reset every 24 hours. They reset every 28 days, roughly. So what happens is, in the follicular phase, we just ended our menstrual cycle, our testosterone and our estrogen levels begin to rise, our progesterone levels begins to drop. And because of that shift, it affects our energy, it affects our moods, it affects our desires, it affects so much. And then in ovulation, that's when we are primed for conception, right? We potentially could get pregnant. And so because of that, it will make us more outgoing. The brain will make us be great at communication, at connection, right? So because that's the energy of this time of the month. And then in the luteal phase, because the body so those energies, the hormones are shifting, right? So estrogen goes down, progesterone goes up. And so what happens is energies shift. So you might feel grumpier, you might feel snappier, you might feel hungrier than usual. Energies change. You might feel like you're yelling more at the kids. You are kind of irritable with your husband. The dishes in the sink annoy you. The laundry is annoying. Like, everything is annoying. It's because of that shift. And so understanding that because of those, the changes of hormones, we have to be wise, and to be also wise in terms of the foods that we choose. So I'm not going to talk about this any longer here, because it's a whole other conversation. But just in short, know that during each phase of the menstrual cycle, there are various foods that you should be eating. So just to give you an example, in menstruation, and think about this, right? Tune into your body. What kind of foods do you crave when you menstruate? I personally crave warmer foods. I crave more chilies and stews and soups. Especially in the wintertime, I just want more comfort food. During, for example, ovulation, that's when, because my body is so busy, releasing it. Well, the egg is already released. The body is kind of ready for life force. It doesn't have a lot of energy left for digestion. And so during the time of ovulation, you might not feel as hungry. You might just, have a smoothie and maybe a light lunch, a salad, and maybe for dinner, some broccoli, cauliflower, and maybe grilled chicken, like something light. And in the luteal phase, for example, because you're already beginning to come close to another shedding of the lining, of the uteral lining, that's when the body might crave more grounding foods like sweet potatoes, turnips, and carrots, and things that are growing under the ground. So that's what it means. That is, in short, what I mean when I say cycle syncing. And it's really this philosophy of feeding, not just feeding your cravings and desires, but more so feeding your hormones. And when we live like that, and when we choose those certain foods, those specific foods that nourish our hormones, then we are working with the body, we're working with this current, right? And that's how we are helping our bodies to replenish, to also rest when it's supposed to rest, and feed ourselves, from really nourish ourselves like we deserve. Okay, so number one was prioritize your sleep. Step number two was to eat like a woman. Okay, so we're paying a huge attention on what we eat, how we eat, whether food is real, whether food is processed, and then of course we're going to be eating with the hormones. And the third step is poop like a goddess. Poop like a freaking goddess. Constipation, remember this, constipation is the mother of all disease. It is also the mother of burnout, how do you say this word? Lethargy, fatigue, headaches, migraines, acne, weight gain, depression, memory loss, whatever it is that you can think of, all possible diseases, they all originate in the bowels. When the bowels are stuck and the bowels are not moving, all the stagnation will lead to disease. So because we are all different, our bodies, even the diseases will be manifested in different ways, right? Which is why I, for example, tend to have acne. You might tend to have headaches or migraines, right? But it's not to say that we are, at the end of the day, we are both women. So why do we have different diseases? The difference lays in the fact that we are just all different. So remember this: 7 billion diets for 7 billion people. We are all very different, but we are all human beings, and we all have a digestive system, and we all were designed to poop. So I want to invite you to be super mindful of your pooping. And so keep things moving. How? Eat real food. Keep yourself hydrated. Drink at least 8 cups of water a day. This reminds me, I'm going to sip of water. Eat green vegetables. Green vegetables are very high in enzymes, and they help to support your digestive system as well as the liver. And you need these organs in order to help to increase your energy levels as opposed to bog them down. Include foods like chia seeds, flax seeds, pumpkin seeds in your diet. This is also in alignment with the cycle syncing. And by the way, if you want to learn more about that, I will be talking about the membership program that I can offer you, where you can learn all of this stuff in much greater depth. All right. Quickly, I'm going to talk about my gift to you, which is my female daily tracking sheet. Now, the word female is actually an acronym, and it's an acronym for the 6 female markers that I would like for you to track every single day in order to give yourself the highest level of energy. So the F stands for food, so you're going to be tracking your food. The E stands for emotions and energy. So you're going to be tracking your levels of energy. The M stands for menstrual cycle, where you're at in your menstrual cycle, which day. Day number 1 will be the first day of your bleed, all the way to the next bleed.
Okay, so this is how you're going to be tracking how far along are you in the cycle. And if you want to learn more about the menstrual cycle and the 4 phases, this is all going to be covered inside of the membership community. So don't worry, this is not, I'm not leaving you, like that. It's all available for you. If you really resonate with this information, then don't worry. You can learn about this later. A stands for at rest, which is sleep. So how many hours did you sleep at night? L stands for libido. So I want you to be tracking your sex drive, because that is going to give you a great deal into your hormones and how they fluctuate and how they change. And the E stands for elimination, which is poop. And we just talked about this right now. So those 6 female markers are going to help you to really take care of yourself, to take care of your body, to feel much more in tune with your body, and then make those healthy choices to change your eating habits, eating styles, to say no when you feel inclined to say yes. It is really it's a transformation. It's a process that requires diligence and dedication, and it requires consistency. And so, because it's a muscle, it's really a muscle that you develop over time. Which is why in my one-on-one work, I work with women over a period of 6 months. So take this tool. It's a very powerful tool. And I've been talking about this many, many times over the podcast and I've done many webinars around this. This tool works. Every one of my clients told me that this has completely changed their life. And it changes lives because it teaches you to look for a solution within yourself. Remember, we talked about the victim mentality. You will start noticing that there is a connection between how you eat and how you feel, and whether you pooped or whether a higher or lower than usual libido levels, right? So all of those things are connected. This tool is a window into your body and into your day-to-day, into how you're showing up every day for yourself. So take this tool. It's a very powerful tool, and I'm happy to give this to you. If you want access, just send me an email and I will send you a link to download this sheet. Okay? All right, so now we're almost done. Now, after you've heard all of this, and I know it's a lot and it might have been new information, but now you have 2 choices. So as you can see in this picture, you have 2 ways. Choice number 1 is you can pretend you didn't hear any of this and just continue to struggle, feel burnt out, depleted, stuck, tired, bored, etc., etc. Really, just pretend like this didn't happen. Second choice is you can link arms with me and let me help you. Let me guide you. I'm not teaching. I will never teach anything that I haven't tried by myself. And so those things that work for me, the things that work for my one-on-one clients, are the things that I'm going to present to you. So what I'm inviting you to is into the Confident, Energized, and Sexy Mamas Inner Circle. Like I said, it's a membership community. This community includes a monthly training and coaching calls. It's going to be group coaching calls. We will meet on the first Tuesday of every month. It also includes worksheets and exercises like we did today. So based on the training that I'm going to be doing, I'll always have a worksheet where you can get into inquiry with yourself. This also include a community of like-minded women and mothers who are healing from burnout. You know, every single mother I've connected with shared with me that she really feels lonely, and she really feels like she doesn't have a village where she feels like she belongs to. And so this membership community includes the community aspect, because to me, myself, it matters a lot. I remember how lonely and secluded and isolated I felt. And if you've heard my interview with Julia Christina, she talked about isolation and living alone, and living in seclusion is the number one culprit for depression. And so if you feel lonely, if you feel depressed, if you feel sad, check this out. Pay attention. Do you have a community around you? Do you have a community of people who are constantly there to lift you up as opposed to put you down? Okay. And then of course, this membership community, it includes my step-by-step formula to help you to shift your energy around. I've designed it to be only once a month so that you don't feel overwhelmed. I know that, all of us are really busy and we all have very full schedules. So the trainings are going to be super short. They're not going to be an hour long each. They might be around 20, maybe 15 minutes long. And then there's going to be worksheets. There's going to be community. We're going to be doing this inside of a private Facebook group. So this is what it is. I have made it to be ridiculously cheap, ridiculously affordable, because I keep hearing that women, I can't afford this, I can't afford it. And I don't think, we talked about the difference between I can't and I won't, right? So I'm not gonna say this again. But what I think women really struggle is with just this decision of saying yes to themselves. So hopefully, because the rate is low, this will help you to make it easier to say yes to yourself. So it's $37 US a month. You can cancel anytime. So like I said, it is a membership community, so you'll be charged automatically every month. This is going to be the first time that I release this. So it's a cohort. And so this very first round is limited to 20 minutes. So sorry, not to 20 minutes, to 20 women. And this time I'm asking for you guys to apply to it. So if this sounds like something that you want to try, that you want to be a part of, our first start date is going to be December the 3rd of 2019. So it's by application only. And in order to apply, what you need to do is you need to head on over to my new website, my new feminine website, which is www.doritpalvanov.com. So I'm going to spell it out for you, for those of you who are listening to it on the podcast. DORITPALVANOV.com/apply. APPLY. And then you will see, for those of you who are here, you see this screenshot. So you will see this form that is called Apply to Work with Dorit. Please make sure to answer all the questions because I really want to make sure that this is the right fit for you. So the more information you give me, the easier it will make my life to match you with the right program. If this is not the right thing for you, then I will make sure to guide you in the right direction. And then the last question you can ignore. Well, just say yes, but just ignore the working with me is a 4-figure investment. Obviously, this is not the case. And then click submit. And I'll be in touch within 24 hours and I'll get you into the program. Okay? Either way, I hope you will join. I hope you will give yourself the opportunity to try something new. Remember that the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. So hopefully this is, making it much easier for you to say yes to yourself. But either way, let's stay connected. If we're connected already and you're listening to the podcast, you're reading my emails, then that's amazing. But if not, then let's stay connected through the podcast. You're welcome to tune in weekly to the Confident, Energized, and Sexy Mama Show. You can join my closed Facebook group. It's called Confident, Energized, and Sexy Mamas Village. And you can also find me and follow me on Instagram. So at Dorit Palvanov Coaching, DoritPalvanov and say hi. Say that you've heard this training and tell me what you think and what are your ahas, and let's take it from there. And that's it.
Wait, before you go, I hope you've enjoyed this episode, and if you did, I want to know about it. So snap a picture of you listening to this episode and share it on Instagram or Facebook. On Instagram, you can tag me at Dorit Palvanov Coaching. So Dorit is spelled as Dorit and Palvanov spelled as Palvanov Coaching. So it's all one word. Or you can use the hashtag Confident, Energized, and Sexy Mama Podcast. You see, my personal goal beyond having amazing conversations with guests or hosting solo episodes is to increase the visibility for this platform and these messages to be shared and heard by women who need it the most. And there's no way that I can do this on my own. So I'm asking you, the incredible community of confident, energized, and sexy mamas, to help me with this goal. So whether you're coming to me through iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, wherever you're listening to the show from, please rate, review, and subscribe to the show. This would mean the world to me, and it's so helpful for other mothers who are looking for this information. So thank you so much for listening, and I'll catch you next time. Bye for now.